Light reflected through a prism reveals a full spectrum of color, an endless array of hues previously hidden from view. The recipients of this year's Prism Awards have played similar roles in the communities each calls home. Each honoree, whether a group or an individual, has shed light on the issue of diversity. Each has illuminated endless possibilities for a brighter future, making their communities better places to live and work. The 1998 Prism Award honorees have focused on who we are as Iowans, no matter what our physical, social, or philosophical differences may be. And through their efforts, we have realized that Iowans are more alike than not alike. We represent the full spectrum of the human race. We are the faces and voices of Iowa. What started as a high school conference on multiculturalism in 1993 quickly widened its focus to diversity through the strong support of the Davenport Community Schools. This past year, students from the 3 high schools of Davenport's educational system made up a large majority of those in attendance at the Diversity Leadership Conference, sponsored by the American Institute of Commerce. The involvement of students from Davenport Central, Davenport North, and Davenport West high schools has significantly impacted the lives of its students, as evidenced by reduced gang membership, lower dropout rates, and an increase in the number of students exhibiting leadership skills. Davenport students have internalized the lessons learned at the conference and translated their knowledge into action. At Central High, students identified a need to stop racism and created the Cultural Society to promote more cross-cultural exchanges between students. Central students also became trained as conflict mediators and assisted with planning for a Quad Cities conference for Black families. A group now called Students Integrating Cross Cultures, otherwise known as SIX, was formed at West High. SIX hosts cultural events and regularly seeks ways to positively focus on the importance of diversity within their school. Students from North High wrote and presented a group of skits that exposed other students to issues of cultural acceptance. The educational leadership opportunities provided by Davenport Community Schools has developed hundreds of leaders from within their collective student populations. During the past year, this leadership has resulted in a dramatic improvement in the overall quality of the students' educations. As these youth have reached out in support of each other, the Davenport community has benefited as well. This bold educational leadership advances the mission of the Diversity Conference, which started it all, assuring that the students of Davenport will indeed learn to judge a person by his or her character and seek to live in a more peaceful and productive world. At Quaker Oats plant in Cedar Rapids, management and union leadership came together in a unified effort, recognizing that diversity training encompasses more than race and affirmative action. A physical redesign of the plant that utilized a team approach served as a starting point for this diversity training, which included 98% of the Cedar Rapids workforce. The Quaker Corporation's approach to diversity training focused on company needs and the various ways employees can use their strengths to maximize individual job contributions. During a 6-month period, 1,176 employees completed an intensive 8-hour training session on diversity. The meetings, held in groups of 20 and representing all 3 shifts, delivered a strong message about dignity and respect for all employees. Their focus was clear. Whether a job entails receiving grain into an elevator, packing cartons of oatmeal for distribution, or making decisions about a human resource issue, each employee's ideas are important and valued. In fact, by empowering its diverse workforce, Quaker Oats fostered an environment where teamwork and success go hand in hand. Employee feedback echoes this truth. Everyone has value. We really must respect opinions different from our own. And we can view differences as an opportunity, not as a negative. These are only a few of the comments made by Quaker Oats employees after their diversity training sessions. Many appreciated not being told what to think and therefore responded positively to an approach which encouraged information sharing and an open exchange of individual thoughts. Buoyed by the joint support of labor and management, employees at the Quaker Oats Cedar Rapids plant now have a greater understanding of the corporation's bigger picture. In their new team environments, everyone communicates, practices respect for one another, and works together toward a common goal. Everyone is part of the picture as Quaker Oats prepares for the new century and beyond. What began as a written response to a misguided phone call turned into a motivational day of conscience raising. Today, the Hands Around the Capitol experience is poised to become an annual event that champions non-confrontational ways to strengthen the diverse neighborhoods of Des Moines. In May of 1997, the Des Moines Area Association of Realtors received a telephone call from a gentleman in Las Vegas requesting a realtor to represent his interest in the purchase of a home in a white neighborhood. The chair of the association's Equal Opportunity Committee quickly responded in writing, advising the caller that fair housing laws prohibit discrimination. He also outlined the broad scope of equal opportunity, which divides neither by race, religion, gender, disability, creed, or national origin.
It saddens me to think in a nation as great as ours, with a future so bright, that we still struggle with discrimination.
In the following year, the Des Moines Area Association of Realtors Equal Opportunity Committee embraced a project which reinforced the association's strong support of fair housing. Its commitment to Hands Around the Capitol benefited both the real estate profession and the Des Moines community. April 4th of this year marked the 30th anniversary of the passing of the Fair Housing Bill. On that day, to honor the standard of fair housing and the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., approximately 200 individuals joined hands to complete a circle west of the Capitol building. With voices raised in song, Hands Around the Capitol came full circle, knitting together business professionals, politicians, realtors, and private citizens. The spirit of diversity went beyond the informational materials and displays provided by state agencies and organizations. The deep feelings evoked here struck a chord of unity that celebrated Des Moines as a welcoming, open, and supportive community for all of its citizens. The Des Moines Area Association of Realtors continues to celebrate and sustain the rights all humans have for fair and equal housing under the law. Many years of statistics show a disproportionate number of minorities being detained and confined in Polk County. In a comprehensive response to this concern, Polk County Youth Services recognized the need for better diversity training for staff, for a more diverse staff, and for greater advocacy on behalf of the youth and families they serve. This community agency formed a 12-member diversity committee, which represented a cross-section of the organization, including the administrator, middle management, union representatives, and youth service workers. The committee experienced a series of intense personal activities for 9 months, which enabled them to better educate and equip others to recognize culture as the pattern and design of all people. With this preparation as a backdrop, 1998 marks the observation of this community agency's follow-through year. Regular meetings are being held with the core team and the administrator, while a cultural resource manual provides easy staff access to monthly diversity activities for the detained youth. Management officials and staff are now trained in diversity-related issues, and this year marks the first time diversity training is a regular part of employee orientation. Between 1997 and 1998, there has been a 65% increase in staff diversity training at Polk County Youth Services and a 75% increase in the number of visual reminders and diversity-related speakers and programs. There has also been an increase in the number of minorities employed by this Polk County agency. Polk County Youth Services has used diversity resources within their community in order to advocate for a diverse population. By building a strong network of culturally competent staff, the families and youth most in need are being served more appropriately and fairly. This is what helps build individual character and ultimately a stronger community. Katie Crum Pilcher's vision was to empower adult refugees and immigrants to achieve their highest potential. She worked toward her vision by going above and beyond the duties required of her job to create the Sudanese Women's Employment Project. Through this work and through her employment as director of Hawthorne Hills Ministries' English as a Second Language program, Katie has helped hundreds of Iowa refugees receive the education and training needed to successfully gain employment and provide for their families. Katie began her work as director of Hawthorne Hills Language and Refugee Outreach Program in 1995. She soon recognized that there were large numbers of refugees and immigrants from disadvantaged backgrounds, and then identified their biggest obstacles as barriers created by language. Responding to this reality, Katie developed a curriculum which focuses on American life skills. Topical units include personal information, finances, consumerism, community services, safety, employment, nutrition, and health. As of May 1998, 123 students were enrolled in these free classes where no class size exceeds 15. Students enroll at any time and take the classes as long as needed. To assist, Katie recruited volunteer instructors who teach 2 mornings a week for at least 6 months and arrange tutorials for interested students. In May, 85% of the students were adult refugees, with the majority from the country of Vietnam. 25% are Southeast Asians, Bosnians, or of Hispanic origin, with another large segment represented by the African country of Sudan. Women refugees from Sudan gained Katie's attention in the spring of 1997. It was apparent that these women, who were mostly in their early 20s with at least one preschool-aged child, had received little previous education before arriving in Iowa. They were also struggling with transportation and childcare issues, in addition to an overall cultural adjustment. After bringing their needs to the attention of the Bureau of Refugee Services, Katie gained the financial support necessary to develop the Sudanese Women's Employment Project. Now, thanks to her, Sudanese women can attend a 3-hour pre-employment class each Friday. Transportation and childcare is provided with intensive job placement assistance. This spring, there were 43 women enrolled in the program, with 20 now employed. Hundreds of lives have improved through the organization and vision of Katie Crum Pilcher. Because of her work, these programs continue with all facets of the organization, promoting self-sufficiency and self-empowerment. Katie Crum Pilcher is viewed as a valuable gift by her diverse body of students, some of our state's newest residents. She is not only a gift to them, but to the entire state of Iowa.